What happened? Was I kidnapped or something? Jesus Christ. Ow! Come on, couldn't even let me straighten my hair. Jesus Christ, I look like a Discord moderator when my hair's not straight. That voice? Jack?
That's right! I'm back, victims!
Well, hey man, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a couple of years. Where have you been?
Oh, well, I'm doing wonderful. And as for where I've been, well, remember when I tried to start my own business with terrorist torture trials? Well, it turns out, torture's illegal.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said! Then I spent a few years in jail and they let me on parole. By the way, I need a place to stay. Mind if I crash here for a bit?
Oh, absolutely. So does that mean you're going to change your ways and leave torture behind for good?
Ha! Torture is in the Skull family name. Of course I'll still torture. I'll just do it behind doors and continue my business on the black market.
Yep, kinda figured.
And since I'm back, I might as well go for another round with an old friend for old time's sake.
And not even gonna take me to dinner first.
Who needs food when you've got video games? Especially these.
Oh! Wait, that's a good game though.
Power up Ascension.
Ah!
Hey, it's time for torture!
No matter what kind of video games you play, and no matter what the platform, generation, genre, or series, I think we can all agree on one thing. Video games are meant to be fun, or at least entertaining. I mean, really, they're called video games after all. But unfortunately, there are certain games that are just a pain to play. Or even worse, you can have a good game and just run into that one moment that ruins it all.
My personal favorite moments in games, because you get to see the pain and suffering from the player as they go through the stages of denial until they finally pass it, or just quit the game, never to touch it again. It's like torture, but completely legal.
I record as many games as possible for the show, even if I have no plans for it, yet I still record the game in case I need it for later. And trust me, it comes in handy a lot. But during these recording sessions, some files can take over an hour because they just decided to be a prick. To clarify, we're talking about moments in games that are just so unbearable that it feels like it's torture to play, not games about torture.
But hey, that's a good idea for a list.
Don't worry, Jack, we'll go to new grounds after this. But for now, let's go over the top 10 tortures in games. But first, rules and notes. Number 1. These are based on my personal experiences and opinions. I am not the king of thought, so please don't take it too personally if I make fun of a game you like. Besides, I'm not talking about the game itself, just a moment that I had the worst time with. Also, just because I'm a guy talking about games doesn't mean you should take my opinions like they're the gospel. If you genuinely agree with me on these things because you can relate, that's cool and all, but feel free to get your own experiences and make your own opinions. Number 2, it doesn't matter if the games are good, bad, or in between. We're not talking about the entire games themselves, just the moments in these games. The rest of the game could be great, but I wouldn't be upset if I can skip these parts, honestly. So please, don't get offended if a game you love is on here, because I could love it as well, just not at that moment. And number 3, one thing you should note is that when the list starts, it will be primarily improv. I'm experimenting with something here, and the anger just doesn't feel right if it's scripted. So please tell me what you think of this direction in the comments below.
Shut the fuck up! There's no rules in torture! Besides, you're the victim, I'm the torturer! Welcome to Gothic Slenderman.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's right. Welcome to Hotel Room 103.
Actually, we don't do that either. It's Cackling Pumpkins now.
What? Could you be at least a little consistent, man?
I'm working on it!
Fine. Welcome to Cackling Pumpkins. and these are the worst tortures in games. Why did you stop calling yourself Gothic Slender Man?
Because I don't own the Slender Man. It's understandable why Super Mario Sunshine is often seen as the black sheep of the series. You've got fully voice-acted cutscenes.
As you are no doubt aware, someone has been senselessly defacing fair Isle Delfino using some paint-like substance.
A completely different art style, most of the enemies we've never seen before, and the ones that we have seen before, are completely changed to work for Isle Delfino. But I think the biggest reason is because it doesn't necessarily have that Nintendo polish.
Careful, Zach. You won't want to make the Nintendo fans mad.
Literally, I could just say Mario is not the 100% greatest franchise in the world and they'll have a fit. It doesn't take much. Look, I'm not saying it's a bad game. In fact, I'd be willing to stand by the fact I think it's still a good game. In fact, I'd say it's a great game. It just doesn't reflect Nintendo's polish at the time. Instead of stars from Super Mario 64, you collect shine sprites. There are about 8 shine sprites in every world, and you have to complete the first 7 episodes in each world to be able to beat the game. However, there are some shine sprites inside the hub world Isle Delfino itself. Some of these are easy to get once you unlock certain equipment, but others are a pain. First, there's the Poison River. Doesn't seem that bad. All you gotta do is get on this leaf and use the nozzle to go ahead and push the leaf to the end of the level while avoiding the walls. But it's so hard to do so, and when you touch the water, it is instant death. And honestly, that's not even the worst of it. Then, there's the one that everyone can agree with. The Pachinko machine. Oh god, the Pachinko machine. Honestly, I think the Pachinko machine is a good idea, but I feel as if there's one major problem that really just shows the biggest flaw of this game. Mario is slippery. No, okay, let me explain. I understand that slippery is kind of a vague term and a vague criticism for games, because it could literally mean anything. Is it slippery in the sense that the character feels like they're moving on ice? Is it slippery in the sense that it feels like your hands are fumbling over the controller just to do a basic action? Well, let me explain. Super Mario Sunshine is kind of weird about one thing, and it makes me very glad the hover nozzle is there. You see, when Mario lands after falling, and he's at the edge of a platform, sometimes it feels like he lands, but then just decides, sorry, I'm gonna go right off the edge right afterwards, even though I clearly made the landing. There are times where he bashes his face off the wall, even though he's supposed to do a wall jump there. That's what I mean by slippery. I guess slippery wouldn't be the best term. Once again, it's an incredibly vague term to begin with, and not the best criticism for games, but I feel like people understand my point. But that doesn't mean the game is unplayable, and once again, I'd be willing to say it's still a great Mario game. But I also feel as if the Pachinko machine just shows the worst that this game has to offer. It feels like the collisions just don't work here. The collisions are fine for the most part of the game, but there's one part it just feels like, nope, fuck your collisions. You're just gonna fall and die over and over. Yeah, and you're gonna like it too. The hover nozzle can't even save you now. You're just gonna get clipped and stuck on one part as the hover nozzle is just pushing you in the same spot, and then you fall and you die. Good job. I didn't even bother beating this one on footage because I wasn't going for 100%. That's the good thing about getting footage for this show, is that I don't have to get 100%. Thank Christ.
Yeah, that works.
Man, I love Infamous 2. It's gotta be one of my favorite PlayStation 3 games. I remember when Infamous was new and everyone was calling it the realistic superhero simulator. Basically what that means is that you play as Cole McGrath, a guy who just ends up with electricity powers, but instead of creating an alter ego, everyone sees him as a monster, because you can't keep that shit secret, especially when you first discover it, and you're gonna have to figure out what you can do with your powers by earning karma for good or bad depending on your actions. Infamous 2 continues this, as you're in a giant city as you prepare for the battle against the Beast. To prepare for the battle, you gotta make sure that everyone is on your side and you have everything that you need, so you're gonna need that good karma. But it also seems like one of the main antagonists also knows about Cole's electric abilities and decides to shut down power in certain locations, thus brings in Power-up Ascension. Oh god, I hate these stages. It's a basic idea, alright? You can't absorb electricity, so you're going to have to just go from one place to another, going to these power generators, and use your powers to reactivate them. However, it takes time for these generators to reactivate, and you're going to have to protect these generators as you get floods of enemies coming in. The generator is your only source of power, and you have to protect it by default. But enemies are coming in from every corner, and Jesus Christ, was there no thought as to where the enemies come in and how many come in? This is bullshit! I'm sorry, but I feel like there wasn't that much thought for how many enemies would pour in, or where they'd pour in, because it just feels like they keep coming, and there's barely anything you can do. You clear one wave, you got 5 guys coming from another, you clear that wave, look at that, there's 10 more coming from the wave you just went ahead and defeated, and well, you're down, and you're down again, oopsie doodles, you died once more, and you gotta do this multiple times in the game. Oh god. Look, it's already challenging enough trying to get one bolt to go from one generator to the other. Can't that just be the mission and we move on with our day? No, apparently not. It's gotta make it a headache. But still, Infamous 2 is one of my favorite PlayStation 3 titles. It's just that whenever I replay it, I loathe the mission that's coming up. Wow, I just realized I've talked about Garfield Caught in the Act in 3 videos now. The first is in the Strangest Glitches video, where I showed an infamous glitch in the game. The second is in the Halloween levels video, where I talked about Count Slobulus Castle. And now here we are! And I was even thinking to myself when I was recording the game that, man, this is going to do a lot for the show and I wasn't expecting this. By the way, all of the footage you've seen in all of those videos were from the same recording session too. I can't believe this orange cat has done a lot for the channel, and I'm not just talking about this game too. A lot of people still go ahead and comment on the Garfield horror video. I don't understand, what is with this dang cat? Speaking of Count Slobulus Castle, after you beat that level, you move on to the second stage, which is the Revenge of Orangebeard. The first level isn't that bad, as you go ahead and stand on this boat as you scroll from one side of the stage to the other. It's the second part of this stage that just sucks. It's one of those climbing levels that if you fall down, you end up all the way to the bottom and you just... Look, these stages wouldn't be so bad, but I feel like this one in particular just really got under my skin. You've got enemies that are off screen, and they can throw projectiles at you, and if you take damage, you fall off the vine and head back to the bottom. Sometimes you'll bump your head on a platform that you're supposed to be able to stand on. Wouldn't it be smarter to make it so that I can jump through the platform and stand on it, kind of like a Smash Brothers platform, or platforms in most platforming games? Nope, I just bonk my noodle and I fall down because of it. Also, by the way, in between where the platforms are, the base of the tree, you can't stand on. So if you accidentally jump in between, oh well! You also got all of these sort of enemies. You got the skeletons, you got the stupid monkey, you got the goddamn chicken that won't leave you alone. I swear to God, this thing is timed. Anytime you beat it, wait like 30 seconds and he comes back, and he's the bane of your existence. Honestly, this stage isn't even that bad. It's just my first time getting through this level. Oh, for God's sake. But I guarantee you though, if I ever go back and play it again, it will probably be a lot easier. So I probably am just making an ass out of myself right now, but I don't care. Shut up. I just didn't like it, alright? Shut up.
It's like facing your fears. The first time doing it will be a pain in the ass. The second time, you'll wonder why you were even afraid in the first place. Don't you feel like an absolute moron? An absolute nincompoop? A fucking dipshit?
Yes, I do in fact. Super Smash Bros. Melee is my second favorite Smash game. Yes, I said second favorite. Sorry, Melee elitist, but you just can't match a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's roster. I mean, really, you got everyone from Melee times like 4. And you got Sora. I'm pretty sure this game doesn't have Sora. This game doesn't have Steve. But in the end, I can't deny how much I love the control this game has to offer. It's fast-paced, very competitively viable. I love everything that you can do in this game. And it's a wonder that you were able to get something this good in just 13 months. But it's not without its problems. I understand why some people don't like it. and I can understand why a certain group of people may not like it either. Because here's the thing, Super Smash Bros. Melee is a fantastic game when you're playing with friends and in tournaments. If you're just facing the AI, oh boy, you're probably gonna have a completely different opinion. Let me let you in on a secret. As a little kid, I hated Super Smash Bros. Melee, and it's because I didn't have anyone else to play with, so I had to deal with the AI. How bad is the AI? Well, let me go ahead and look at this list of flaws of Super Smash Bros. Melee's AI.
Hang on, folks. This one's gonna be a wild ride.
Here is one for repeated or held inputs. CPUs never charge attacks that require button holding, including smash attacks, and it seems like the only exceptions are Zelda's Din Fire, Sheik's Needle Storm, and Ness with PK Flash. CPUs never hold indefinitely extendable attacks such as Rapid Jabs, Fire Breath, Reflector, Inhale, or Hand Slap, past their maximum length. They also never use the Fire Flower's flames, or never fire the Super Scope continuously. Here's some attack patterns. CPUs tend to heavily spam the neutral attacks and dash grabs against foes at close range, often foregoing other attacks like tilts, smashes, non-projectile specials. They also never approach foes on the ground with aerial attacks unless they were previously in mid-air. The difficulty of higher level CPUs stems from not their more advanced fighting tactics, but the degree in which they can interrupt approaching foes with frame-perfect neutral attacks or grabs. The biggest problem with Melee's AI is that it's not good. It's outright dumber than bricks. It won't even use the extent of most of its moves. But the problem is, it's stupid fast. It reacts in such an inhuman speed that even though they're doing the worst things, they do it so quickly that it feels like they're like some guy online just spamming the same 3-hit combo over and over, but they'll never finish the 3-hit combo. They'll just keep doing Mario's punch but never do the kick. And then you're stuck in a wall, so you just keep repeating that over and over. And then people say, oh, learn the block, use the shield. But then as soon as you hit the button, literally as soon as you hit the button, they instantly, no human error whatsoever, instantly within a second, start grabbing you. Like you can't even defend yourself. They're not smart. They're stupid fast! So when you tell me the last event in Super Smash Bros. Melee, Event 51, has you face Ganondorf, Mewtwo, and Giga Bowser, each with 3 stocks, and you're telling me I gotta beat them all in Bowser's Nation, oh my god, this is just gonna be the worst of it. At least the AI can sometimes be so dumb that it just kills itself, like this Mewtwo here, that whenever it charges Shadow Ball at the edge, and Ganondorf or Giga Bowser just knock him off, he'll just keep charging until he just falls to his death. But it doesn't change the fact that with the flaws of Melee's AI, it makes this event a nightmare. I've even heard some competitive players say bad things about this event, and that's something right there. You get the Melee elitist to admit that there's a flaw, you know you done fucked up. There is one way you can beat it though, and have a slightly easier time. Choose Ness, go to the side of Finals Nation, jump off the edge, use PK Thunder, and just charge into them over and over. Go to the opposite side of the stage, and repeat. However, even this has its problems. But it's worth it, because once you complete Event 51, not only has every event been completed, but you also unlock Final Destination. I guess you could say the torture of this game is less Event 51, but more how bad the AI is. But at the same time, Event 51 I feel as if just shows the worst of it. Ugh. If you want a real-time experience, watch my screaming skeletons about me trying to beat every single event in Super Smash Bros. Melee while drunk. Yeah, I get fucking seething in anger. Ah yeah, Dead Space, one of my favorite horror game series out there. It is a fantastic horror game that brought new life to the horror genre at a point in time when everyone was just trying to be a zombie shooter, similar to that of BioShock, which also brought in an equal amount of new life. Okay, so where does the horror come in on Dead Space? Well, mainly through its story and the logs that you can collect, whether that be audio logs, text logs, and of course video logs. As for gameplay, it's similar to Resident Evil, where a lot of it's about conserving ammo and trying to make sure you don't waste it all and make sure you defeat enemies as fast as possible. And I feel as if the game handles this well for the first 6 chapters. Chapters 1 through 6 are borderline fantastic, but unfortunately, that's just half of the game. In the second half, chapters 7 to 12, I feel as if do not handle this well at all. Okay, so in this game, you know, kind of like Resident Evil, you conserve ammo, you try to save ammo, you try to make sure you don't waste it all, and it doesn't give you ammo that often. Okay, fair enough. Okay, then let's flood the entire pathways with necromorphs, which, by the way, most necromorphs are fast enemies by default, and you can't just run past them, because if you try to, you'll get a free hit. Oh, and that's not even the worst of it. So you waste ammo trying to face enemies, making sure you don't get damaged, because med packs are also conserved as well, and then you get locked in a room where you have to beat 10 to 20 necromorphs. And because you wasted all that ammo, you sometimes keep dying over and over because you don't have enough to defend yourself, so you have to backtrack to get more ammo, and even then, you might have a shot. Listen, I'm sorry, but Resident Evil handles the whole conserving ammo bit way better because the enemies are typically slower. You have time to shoot them using the right amount of ammo, you don't have to rush, and in some cases, they give you many opportunities to sneak past them. Here, not so much. I'm sorry, but you can't do the whole conserving ammo bit when you're swarmed by fast enemies that you have to face unless you want to get a bunch of free hits, and it locks you in a room to defeat even more. How can I conserve ammo if you're not even going to give me the chance to? Oh, let me just go ahead and tell you. I got stuck near the end of one of the chapters. I had only 2 plasma shots. Only 2, nothing else. And then I go into the next room thinking, oh, there's not going to be any enemies. There's usually not any enemies where there are stores, and there was a store right there. But then they have these flying manta ray looking things that go ahead and create new necromorphs, and it's those dark necromorphs and take extra damage. So I had to go ahead, run over to the shop, but I only had enough credits to get a few more plasma shots, and I had to keep repeating the room over and over and over, because this was one of those sections where you had to beat every enemy in the room. Once again, how can I conserve ammo if you're gonna force me into these kind of situations? Yeah, I understand, sometimes Resident Evil has these as well, but they're few and far between, and at least with every other enemy, they're either slower or give you a better opportunity to conserve ammo. Listen, what I'm about to say is a hot take, and everyone in the Dead Space community is gonna hate me for it, but everyone doesn't like how Dead Space 2 and 3 became more action-oriented. I would gladly go ahead and say I prefer it that way, because clearly by chapters 7 to 12, it feels like it's trying to be more of an action game, but with the whole conserving ammo bit, which you just can't mix. Dead Space 2 may become more action-oriented, but at least I didn't have to worry about constantly needing to conserve ammo in a game where I'm surrounded by fast enemies. It felt more fair with the amount of ammo, and it felt more fair with the amount of enemies that I had to face, and the only time I had this problem in the second game is in the last 2 chapters, and Dead Space 3 decided to become an entirely action game, and guess what? I didn't have to deal with this problem at all. Look, I understand why people don't like Dead Space 3, but at the same time, at least I didn't have to deal with this nonsense.
Yes, bring out the hot takes! Gamers, get angry! Get mad!
You know what? I don't care if they're mad. I'll say it. This series is better when it tries to be action. Its horror should primarily be through its story and logs, alright? Shut up! Alright, no, wait. Whew. I'm not gonna let myself get mad. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. Oh yes, Ratchet & Clank, one of the big classics of the PlayStation 2. It's a great platformer with fun weapons, fun design, and hilarious characters. There's not much bad I can say about this game. Well, there is one, and that is the hoverboard race. Well, look, here's the thing. The first hoverboard race is completely optional. You don't need to beat it to beat the game. But I wasn't able to do it at the very beginning anyway because I was a goddamn nincompoop. You don't get the hoverboard just by going through the story. That's what I originally thought. So you have to go ahead and get the board in Aridia. So I end up going to the hoverboard race, wondering why I can't do it. Why don't I have the hoverboard? Did I miss it somewhere? Well, yes I did, because there's a mission in the planet Aridia that's right behind your ship when you land. I didn't bother to look at the map, so I just went forward, and then I never went to that area until near the end of the game. So you had to go to this area that's right behind you in Aridia, and you have to save Skidman Marks, who gives you a hoverboard. Alright, now I can go ahead and enter the race. This should be fun. Hoverboard races sound like a fun idea, but oh my god, this is just awful. The racers make little to no mistakes. They have some of the worst rubber banding I have ever seen. They take almost every shortcut perfectly, and there are also exploding crates that feel like they're only just randomly placed all throughout the map.
So why don't you go ahead and get the other racers to run into the exploding crates?
Well, because they do, they just seemingly don't get affected by it. This dipshit here decided to go right through them, but decided, hey, you know what, I'm not going to fall or either be affected by the crates. It is a crapshoot whether or not you're actually going to be able to be, it feels almost random if they're actually going to be affected by the exploding crates. But hey, I stub my toe on one, and I explode and fall on my face. And when you respawn, not only do you lose all your speed, but it has the audacity to push you back further on the map. It is nearly impossible, and not in a good, challenging way. You have to do this pixel perfectly just to go ahead and get by, and I just decided, fuck that, I'm done. Oh, but here comes another problem. There is a second race in the game, and you have to do this one. But this one isn't so bad. It has a much better map, it has exploding crates only in one section, and it feels like they're placed much better. It has a shortcut only you can use, and best of all, you have a rocket launcher, so you can kill the competition quite literally. But it's still hard, though it feels like more of a challenge rather than whatever this is. Maybe it got better in the future. Well, I don't know. I never played the remake of Ratchet Clank, but from what I heard, it's just as bad.
Insomniac Games, I love you for this.
Nice try, Belvedere. Thinks he can just take me out with one of his brainwashed henchmen disguised as a nurse? Well, it's gonna take a lot more than that to keep me from getting back Lois and Brian and Chris and Stewie and I wanna say Russ?
I've talked about Family Guy the game before, and it's made just as many appearances on the show as Garfield Caught in the act. In the same exact videos, by the way. Huh, it's odd. I've already talked about how I feel as if the game could have been better, but let me explain how I think it could have been better. 1. Split Stewie, Brian, and Peter's playstyles into their own stories, sort of like a Sonic Adventure styled selection screen. You know, you got episode Stewie, then episode Brian, and episode Peter. For Stewie's, just improve the better aiming system. Maybe you could use the right analog stick to aim as you use the left to move, since it's almost kinda like a top-down shooter, except it's not top-down. It's very close to that, though. In Brian's episode, just give CPUs a visible field of view. Look, I was so close to putting Brian's stages on this list because they are a pain in the ass. They give you little to no warning, you have no idea how close you can get, and then they just arbitrarily do a whole 180 with no warning. You can follow the patterns all you like, but sometimes it's just so tight that it's just, oh my god! A visible field of view for each of these characters would have made this 10 times better. And for Peter's, look, I feel as if that's the one that's the closest to being an actual game. I would just say remove the reaction command segment in Peter's bosses, and honestly, they only appear in 2. The problem with the reaction command segment. Okay, so you use your special to run into your opponent when their health is low enough. Cool. Then you struggle with them. Then you have to hit the right buttons as the game tells you to. Alright, cool. But it feels like you have to be ridiculously fast. They give you little to no time to push the button. You see, whenever the X flashes, you might as well just have the mind of a supercomputer and hit it almost before the button even comes up. Because if you try to hit it at a regular time, it's not going to count and you're going to be knocked on your ass constantly. So how is it that you can get through this? Oh, very simple. Just mash all of the action buttons and hope to God you get the right combination. I am not joking. Try and go ahead and do this reaction command segment fairly. It only happens once with the knights, but then the final boss of the game comes up. And it's of course the giant funny chicken man. And just like any chicken fight, you go from phase to phase fighting the chicken inside different locations prior to the game. After you beat the chicken, sometimes you could do a basic button mash kind of section, which is easy to do, but every other time you have to do this reaction command nonsense, and once again, just mash the button and hope you get it right, and it's a crapshoot once again. You can't do it the way the game wants you to, because it's too fast for any human being to do, so you have to just mash the buttons and just hope to God you do it.
It's like Torture's Lottery.
And then there's the last section of the game. Oh my god, you are not only time limited now, but guess what? You have to do this reaction command sequence not once, but twice in a row. Oh my god, are you serious?
Get fucked!
Oh, you know what? No, I'm not getting fucked. I've been replaying this final boss for over an hour now. This one phase has taken up 60 minutes of my goddamn life, and I'm not gonna let Peter goddamn Griffin laugh at my face as I give up. No, no, no. I am right there. I can do it. I finally did it once, and then I had to learn that I had to do it a second time in the last phase, and thank God the game decided to have some pity on me, and the first time I had to do it the second time, it just decided, yeah, you know what, you earned it this time. Oh, thank God. Fucking Christ. If I ever go back to replay this game, fuck you, I ain't doing the final boss.
It seems today, all you see is nerve endings popping out of your fucking brain.
Oh my God, Peter, are you okay?
Oh, fuck yeah! Devil May Cry, I love this series. I love the characters, the crazy action, the combos, the weapons, the edginess. Oh, this is a series that was made for me, and... oh, we're playing the first one. Oh boy. Look, the first Devil May Cry is fun enough. You've got everything that will eventually make up the entire series later, but I have something to admit. I hate the first Devil May Cry. I love the rest of the series that will come afterwards, but the first one is ruined by one single problem. One major flaw that ruined the entire experience. The camera. Look, I understand. The game was originally supposed to be a Resident Evil spin-off, but the game changed as soon as they realized the direction they were going for didn't work for Resident Evil, so it became its own IP in its place. Because of this, the game had a fixed camera perspective just like Resident Evil, and I'm sorry, but this camera does not work for this kind of game. You have fast-paced hack-and-slash action, gun-slinging, enemies that can go in any part of the room, but God, I can't even see the enemies half the time, and the camera just wants to switch around whenever it wants, and it's way too disorienting. The later you get into the game, the worse it gets. And in my opinion, the worst this camera has ever been is during boss fights when you're inside a closed-in area. And oh, thank you! I can't see behind your big-ass fucking wing! Thank you! The biggest problem had to be facing Nightmare. Honestly, Nightmare doesn't even seem like that bad of a boss. He only really has 4 attacks. He has an ice beam that's easy to run away from, he has the shadow homing attacks that honestly are the only real threat, these multiple mini shots that don't do that much damage, and these stabbing little tendrils that only come out when you get too close to his side. Honestly, he'd be a pushover if it wasn't for the camera. That camera made this guy the worst boss in the game. And honestly, once again, he shouldn't have even been that bad. All of his attacks would make him either a pushover or an okay boss. But I'm sorry, Nightmare. Your entire fight was ruined by this god-awful camera, and are you serious? Here you'll get to see the worst of the camera. The camera switches way too much. It is way too disorienting. It jerks you around. Yeah, sometimes in the game if you're holding a certain direction on the analog stick and the camera switches, it lets you keep going that direction even if it doesn't go accordingly to the analog stick. But other times, it just jerks you around like no one's business. There's one time I was trying to jump to avoid the ice beam, and would you know it, I jumped at the exact moment the camera decided to switch, and it caused me to jump right into the ice beam. I decided, bullshit, I am not doing this. Fuck this. The camera not only is disorienting, and not only makes it hard to fucking fight anything in this game, but it also straight up kills you.
Yeah, the camera's a bitch, ain't it? That's something a lot of these games at the time had in common, and I love seeing people freak the fuck out over cameras.
You know what? You know what? No. Shut up. No. You know what? I'm going to say something right now. You know DMC, the game that everyone gives so much shit because it's slightly more edgy and it wasn't like the other Devil May Cries? You know what? I'm going to say it right now. DMC is better than the first Devil May Cry for the simple fact that you didn't have to deal with this goddamn fucking awful camera. Oh, I'm sorry. Does fucking Dante get killed by the camera? No, I don't fucking think so. Jesus Christ, you all only hate DMC because it's edgy, just like Shadow the Hedgehog. But honestly, once you get to know it, it's not even that bad of a game. And once again, I'll say it again, it's better than Devil May Cry 1.
Jesus, Zach, calm down.
Yeah, this is why you didn't torture him before.
Now that you mention it, I'm kind of getting flashbacks to why I don't torture Zach.
Now this is much better. A childhood game. Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Disney's attempt at Harry Potter. That while the first movie was good, it didn't really catch on the same way as the Harry Potter series did. Of course, much like any game from this era, we had a licensed title. And honestly, the first few levels are pretty good. It seems like it could be one of those shockingly good licensed games. But then you get to the giant boss. Oh my god, this boss will show you everything that is wrong with this game, or at least some of the worst moments in the game, because I have still yet to beat it. It seems fine honestly, but then you get flooded by enemies, and once you defeat the enemies, these archers come in. Once you defeat the archers, the enemies come back, and then you gotta get the kids to pile on the giant as you get Arrow Child to shoot them in the face, but you can't do that when you're being surrounded by enemies. Once you beat the enemies, the archers come in. Once you beat the archers, the enemies come in. Oops, you lost your chance to shoot the giant, and all of its health just came back. But hey, this guy's at least way more manageable in comparison to the Wolf Tunnel. Oh god, the Wolf Tunnel. Mr. Beaver now is trying to find a way to get the kids out without being caught by the Ice Queen. There are 3 things you gotta keep track of. The wolves that are breaking into the tunnel, the other giants getting ready to make a bridge to enter the area, and Mr. Beaver will occasionally get kidnapped. They'll gladly tell you one thing is happening through an animated cutscene. Okay, that seems fair. It's got everything that you need for one of those high stress kind of levels, but when they say high stress, oh god, this is high stress. It starts out fine. You get an animated cutscene of the wolves coming in, so you gotta fight them. Then you go ahead and run around and fight some enemies. Okay, the giants are now trying to come in. Go over to shoot them. Then you complete that, and instantly on your way back, Mr. Beaver gets kidnapped. Okay, rush over to him. Start fighting the enemy. Okay, now the wolves are back. Okay, now you gotta finish fighting the enemies and save Mr. Beaver and walk over to the wolves and shoot them, but before you even get to them, the giants come back. Then you go ahead and clear the wolves, and you're walking over to the giant, and that's not even complete, but Mr. Beaver gets kidnapped instantly again, and how is anyone supposed to fucking do this? It's way too fast for anyone, including the target demographic of this game, children, to keep track of. How can anyone, even me, a fucking 26-year-old man, able to fucking do this? Holy hell! But you know what? There is one thing that makes it so that you can still continue in the game, even if you don't complete the level. Thank God we had cheat codes.
Cheat codes. Escape from torture. It's too much for me. Ah, you're scooping out my eyes. Oh no. My least favorite cheat code is 911.
That's because you just learned that torture is illegal. Before I continue, let me just say the cheat codes I'm about to read are for the original Xbox version, but to still apply for all of the other versions, I think the codes are just a little different. Thank God they have a clear/skip current stage level. You don't need to do anything. Just put in this code and you're done. To enable cheat mode, all you have to do, press the start button, and when the text is displayed, press A, hold down L and R, and press down, down, right, up to enable cheat mode. Then for the level skip code, while playing the game, hold L and press down, left, down, right, up, and you automatically complete the stage. Oh, thank God. Oh, goodness. I can escape the torment. Oh, Christ.
Oh, so you think using cheat codes makes you a real badass? Well, how when we get to the final torture, I think you'd be in for a big surprise.
Oh god, ah fuck, ah Jesus. Oh my god.
I'm invincible!
Oh, would you look at that. Another childhood game. Bug's Life on the PS1, based on the Pixar film. And one I haven't seen in a while. I should probably go ahead and rewatch this movie. The game was created by Traveler's Tales, which probably isn't the best sign of things. It's kind of an okay platformer. You get plants and tokens to upgrade them. You have all these kind of plants, and honestly, it's kind of a fun mechanic. You get this leaf, and you upgrade it to a stairwell of leaves. You get a mushroom you can bounce off of. You get something that can shoot enemies. Alright, doesn't seem that bad. And the first few levels are pretty okay too, but the later stages basically require you to upgrade these plants, and the tokens you need to upgrade these plants are placed in some of the most asinine areas, Jesus. Anthill 2 returns you to the first level of the game. Okay, familiar territory. It's raining, you get a lot more enemies, and what you have to do is chase Hopper down. Okay, not bad. You go to him and, oh, it's an area you can't access. Oh, I get it, I need to upgrade some of my plants, and then I can reach him. Okay, easy enough. I can't reach that token. Okay, maybe that's one I get later? No, okay, I can't get that one either. Wait, how can I reach that one with all the stuff that I have currently? Wait a minute, how am I supposed to get any of these? Okay, maybe I could just get them with the ones that I have and... No? Oh god, this is weird. And the weird thing is, too, when you fight some of the enemies and defeat them, they come back shortly after. This is one of those games with respawning enemies. Oh god. The tokens are placed in the most weirdest areas, and it doesn't even give you any hint to what you're supposed to do. You upgrade the plans, but what am I supposed to do there? How am I supposed to get that one? How am I supposed to get this one? Oh my god, this is just... What? You get no time to just sit down and think too, because once again, enemies respawn. What the hell is happening here?
Good luck getting through this one now.
Well, I got bad news for you, Jack, because this game also has cheat codes, including a level select code. Alright, let's go ahead and do it. Okay. Alright, here we are, level skip code. Alright, to skip the current level, pause the game and press L1, L1, R2, R2, X, circle, triangle. Alright, let's do that and... Huh, I must have not put the code in right. Let's try again, shall we? Huh? Wait, what? Alright, it only works when you're inside of a level. Okay, I am in a level. I'm doing the combination, but it won't work. Wait a minute. Why isn't the cheat code working? No! Why isn't the cheat code working? No! Oh dear God! Don't tell me there's cheat codes and they don't even work! Or maybe I'm doing something wrong, which I'm entirely open to the possibility of, but not at the moment! Oh no!
I'm back, baby!